What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. In this video, we're gonna make this strategy from Renee Balk, his YouTube. This is a very simple, this is if it's one of your first time coding a strategy in Ninjascript, then this is a good video for you. It's gonna be basically all the basics, and we're gonna basically converting this MetaTrader 5 strategy into a Ninjascript strategy. So yeah, let's get to it. So this is the video we're gonna be basing it off of. Renee Balk, he codes a lot of MetaTrader 5 EAs, and he's actually where I learned to code EAs from. So we're kind of gonna follow along with his video. So first thing,
properties at the top. This is just
basically
that
here he's just
first
so far he's just
the
explained how what we're gonna use. So we're gonna be using the parabolic SAR. So first thing you want to do is in your control center, come to new Ninjascript editor, and then this will open. Next thing you want to do is strategies, new strategy, and we'll do YouTube Renee Balk parabolic SAR scalper. Now we're going to do generate. Now this is basically just the default code of the strategy, of any strategy in Ninjascript. So it won't do anything, but it works. So that's basically up to here where he is. Basically, he's just explaining what's going on. So yeah, I guess. So actually, like if you want to see exactly how they're used, so these using declarations are all these, or basically you're just using. It allows you to do different things with the code. That's the same thing as the properties. Actually, no, it's not. So actually, MT5 doesn't have something like that. They have a import function, which I believe he uses, maybe not in this one, which would be similar, but not here. Then on init is the same as on on state default. Right here was where you set all your defaults, all your settings, and everything. Then on bar update is the same as on tick. And then on dinit is the same as, if we wanted to add here, else if state equals state dot terminated. That would be the same. So MT5 and Ninjascript have a lot in common. But let's keep going.
of a difference.
So far he's just explaining the basics. And yeah, so the print thing, what he just did is if on bar update, we could print test, right? And so what this does is on every time this is called, which in the case for this strategy is going to be on every new bar. You can also change it to be on every tick or on every price change, which you can do that here. You do calculate on bar close, but you also have the options for on each tick or on price change. We are only interested on bar close for now. So printing test, basically this snippet is going to run every time we get a new bar. So if we print test, what that is going to do is in our new Ninjascript output, it will start printing test, 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 over and over and over and over for every single bar on the chart that the code runs on.
With every single price movement in the chart, the onTick function is calculated or executed. This means that the main part of our code will be put in the onTick function. So how can we use these functions to now get will in this every or do a see of this gives does a name to say the handle.
So right now he's explaining what handles are, which I actually don't fully understand, but it's something to do with creating like to save indicator data, you need to use a handle. So Ninjascript does this for us, and Ninjascript makes it very easy. But once he gets to the actual indicator, okay, so here he's starting to put the parabolic indicator. So yeah, here he's going through all the settings you can put in it, which we're going to use the same. The only thing different is, okay, well, first thing we want to do is actually Ninjascript, the default editor, kind of sucks, so I use Visual Studio, which is just this button. I think you need to download Visual Studio first, which if you just Google Microsoft Visual Studio, it'll come up and it's free and it works very well. Make sure you get the purple version. There's a blue version. The blue version is not what we want. But once you open that, then you have all your scripts that are held inside your Ninjatrader project. But we come to strategies, come down to this, and now we have the exact same code, right? But now in Visual Studio, which just looks nicer, and like it'll finish. Like, see, it tells us all this info. It's just a lot easier to work with. So
Address handle number 10, so to say.
here he's still working on
Location
creating
number 10, if you want to say so, and then it uses this description for the indicator.
the indicator.
This right here entry in the MQ5 reference.
Yeah, so see, he also has to do in MT5. You also have to do this copy buffer thing, which is just
in one
makes it a lot more steps to use indicators.
and this is this function to combine two conditions create a. We want
All right.
to check for buy and sell signals,
So
and
so up to here, so far all he's done is create his indicator. He hasn't started any entry signals yet. So that's what we're going to do. So every time I start a strategy, first thing I do is I change the start behavior to immediately submit a synchronized account. What that is going to do is when you enable a strategy on a chart, if the strategy should already be in a position, this will automatically enter the position right away, which sometimes is good, sometimes is not, but this is just what I prefer. I don't want it to wait until that historical strategy closes. This will just enter it right away. Next thing I change is bars required to change. Bars required to trade to 2 is instantiated on each optimization. Set that to false. If when this is true, it slows down your optimizations a lot. Then slippage to 3 and include commission equals true and include trade history and backtest equals true. So that's all done in the setting the defaults. Next thing we want to do is load our indicator. So in MetaTrader, you have to, if he scrolls up, see on the onInit, first he creates a global variable handle, and then on the onInit loads that handle with the indicator data. So we need to do similar thing. first, we need to create our indicator, basically objects, but data. So Ninjascript makes it very easy. You just do parabolic SAR, and now we're going to name it. So we'll just name it PSAR. So all this is doing is this creating our variable. So right here, PSARs, we're going to store all of our data. Parabolic SAR, this is the class, and it's basically saying what type of variable this is. So a simple example is an integer, right? If we want to store a number, the variable name is number, and we want to store an integer. In this case, the indicator name is PSAR, and we want to store parabolic SAR. So that is just creating the variable. Now we need to fill the variable with data. So we're going to come here, else if state equals state dot data loaded. So once our bar data is loaded, then we're going to fill this variable with the data. So we're going to do a PSAR equals. Now, same thing, you type parabolic SAR again, but this time with parentheses. That turns it into a method, which now you can see from here now we have all these options to put in. So I'm not really sure how those work, but I'm pretty sure this is the defaults. We can actually check for sure. In indicators, if we go to parabolic SAR, defaults are 0.02, so acceleration max is 0.2. And the other two are 0.02. Yes. And there we go. Then in Ninjascript, you have the option to add it to the chart or not. So if you want to see it, and if you're going to have a live chart and everything, then yeah, you probably want to add the indicator. But in a lot of cases, you won't even have a chart when a strategy is running, so you just won't add it to the chart indicator because it'll slow down your strategy just a little bit, but it makes a difference. But in this case, we do want to load it. So now we've created it, loaded it with data, and added it to the chart. Now we can start using it for entry signals. So yeah, let's just test that it loaded correctly. So if you're in Visual Studio, you can do Control S. That'll save it. And then it'll automatically compile it for you. So as you can see, right, it just added our code. If you are not using Visual Studio, make sure you have this, and then you come up to here and click compile. Now, back in our control center, let's do new chart, put it on the NQ, 1 minute, open the chart, and here it is. Now, to load the strategy, you can right click, strategies. Let's find it. We have add it. Then you can select your account, do whatever you need to do. Then you can apply. So now it's on the chart, but it's not turned on. So to turn on, you just click enable and then apply. And we got no errors. So now we have it to our chart, and it should go back as far as the chart goes back. So next step,
this is to make sure that a buy or sell trade is only executed if there's a signal. So what we want to do is we want to check if the value in this values array at index 1 is greater. Wait, how do we check this? We want to check if wrote this word if here, overall condition for this if statement is true. So both of these conditions have to be true. And if both of these conditions are true, then we enter the body of the if statement. And only if both conditions are true, we execute the body of 27 lines of code. So let's go back.
All right. So here, he just gave the entry signal, which is to buy, right? If values, which is our indicator values, is less than the low of basically I low gets the lowest bar on this underscore symbol means of the current signal of the 1 hour 0 bars back. So it'll just give the most recent low. Then I high is, can't see. I think that's a one candle back. Well, let's see.
Make sure to compile, of course, before you go. As open, you can click on visualize, and yes, it says sell. So program seems to work so far. Here we have another sell signal. Let's wait for a buy signal. There was a buy signal at 16 o'clock or 50.
Okay, so it looks like when basically just a cross, when price goes above the SAR, parabolic SAR, that's when we buy. So pretty simple. One thing I forgot to mention, which is a little bit more complicated in Ninjascript, but he is using the 1 hour parabolic SAR. He has it hard coded to only use the 1 hour. That is possible in Ninjascript, but there's a few more steps. In MetaTrader, you can just type period like H1, H2, H4, and it'll automatically load the data for you. Ninjascript, a little more complicated. I have it in other videos, so I'm not going to do it in this video, but when you're loading it with data, here you have the option to input a different series. So default, right, are the closes. So default is all the close of every single bar is what is being used, is the data being used to create the parabolic SAR. Now we can do the highs, the low, the is median. Yeah, I guess that is a median. The open, and those are all there for us if you want to do that. But if you wanted to do the 1 hour, you have to do a few more steps. Basically you have to do add data series, and then yeah, there's some more steps to it. I'm not gonna do it in this video because I want to keep it simple, but I have other videos where I do show how to do that. So now in Ninjascript, you also have to add. You don't have to, but definitely helps a lot with errors. If current bar is less than bars required to trade, then we return. What this is doing, so in an if statement, everything inside of it, if it's true, then it executes the logic after. So an if statement can look like this, and then everything in here, or it can just be one line and then everything after it. So in this case, if current bar is less than bars required to trade, then we return. So our bars required to trade right here equals 2. Our current bar is just the number of bars on the chart. So this bar is bar 1. Then bar 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 goes on and counts forever. Actually, let's test that. Let's do print current bar. And then do print test. Control S to compile. Now let's go to our chart. Let's open a Ninjascript output. Let's do strategies. Remove it. Add the updated version. Enable it. Apply. And then, oh, it is enabled. Okay, so here, see, on every single bar, we're doing, first, on every single new bar, we print current bar, whatever number it is, then test right after. And if we go to the very beginning, we have current bar 0, 1, 2. Then when it's 2, then we print test. So that means that this is working. All that does is that just helps prevent any errors of the indicator not having enough information before it can load, or entering trades before you have enough bars printed on the chart. So now let's create our entry signal. So if the close is greater than P SAR 0 and close 1 is less than P SAR 1, then we are going to buy. Else, if close 0 is less than P SAR 0 and close 1 is greater than P SAR 1, then we're going to sell. So what are these? This should be 0. So close P SAR, right? You have close, you have P SAR, you have open, high, low, median. All of these are arrays with data stored in them. So the way an array works is basically a list, 0 to whatever. It starts at 0. The way Ninjascript works is every new bar, you have a new high, open, low, and close, right? So every new bar, close 0 becomes the most recent close. Then close 1 is the bar after, close 2 the bar after, and so on. And that's the same for all of these different data series. So any of them you can do. You can get the information of that bar by doing that. You can do 10, you can do 100, 1,000. Now if we did 1,000, we would get an issue because we can only do up to our current bar. So if our current bar is less than 1,000, we'll get an issue because there's no data at high 1,000 candles back. It's just empty. And so that would give us a data. or error because of the data. So that is what this does. So what this is doing is if our most recent close, so basically our current price, because the candle hasn't closed yet, actually it has closed. Yeah, the close of the most recent candle, if it's greater than the most recent PSR value, and the close of 2 candles back is less than the PSR value 2 candles back, then we buy. And to buy, super simple, is just enter long and enter short. So let's compile this and test it out. So we open the strategies, disable it, enable it, and there we go. So looks like it's working. So let's see. Yep, as soon as it switches, on the next candle we buy, and then we close once it switches again. Then we sell, buy. So yeah, looks like it's working. But right now we don't have any targets or any exit strategy. Right now it's just entering, and then it closes the trade when we get a sell signal. So a quick way to see if your strategy is making money, when it's on loaded on chart, you can just do right click, strategy performance, real time and historical. So no, looks like this is doing terrible. So let's add some exit. Yeah, just some exits. Actually, let's see what he does.
Den positions. So we have to provide the volume, and we can say 0.5 this, and we run the same program again. Return can easily see that it's in the body of this if statement. So that works completely automated, because right now you can.
So he's basically, this is at the exact same spot, but on forex, you can be in multiple positions at the same time. So he's buying here, selling, 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 buying, and he also has no exit logic. So he just keeps entering more positions. For futures, you can only be long or short. So that's why ours looks a little different.
See nothing buy and sell. It will give us the ask price for the current chart symbol. And now we want to take this ask price and we want to add, let's say, 100 points. So you can write 100 multiplied with point. And point is always just like the smallest price change. So you can.
So now he is adding a stop loss and TP. So what we're going to do is the same thing. So for Ninjascript, you have to add the stop loss and TP before you enter the trade. So we're going to do set stop loss, calculation mode. In this case, we're going to do price, and we're going to set it to the PSR 1. So what is that? Right? So right here, when we buy, actually we want PSR 0, because we want this price to be our stop loss. So we're going to do PSR 0. Same thing down here. Set stop loss, calculation mode dot price, PSR 0. Now our TP, just to keep it simple, we'll do set profit target, calculation mode dot ticks, and we'll do 25. Then you can just copy that, paste, let's compile, and see what that does. So now we go to strategies, disable it, re-enable it, and now you can see, right, we're selling TP, and Let's see. Do we hit stop loss anywhere? Okay, so here we hit stop loss and we know it's working. Is it working? Should have been here. Let's see. Could be because of slippage. Okay, so it is working. So see, right when we sell here, PSAR 0 is this value. So you take that price, and that is our stop loss, and that lines up exactly. So that's working. Now, right, TP looks really small. Like, look at this huge move. This move too. This move, this move. Like, there's a lot more, this massive move. There's a lot more profit to catch. So, let's optimize our TP to see which one is best. So, to do that, we need to create a TP variable. So we're going to find your onbar update parentheses, and we're going to do that outside of that. You're going to do box brackets, Ninjascript property, box brackets, display, then we'll do name equals TP, and yeah, that's all we need for now. Then, if you're in Visual Studio, you can type prop, P-R-O-P, tab, and it'll automatically do this for you. We want integer, then we're going to name it TP. Now we just created a TP variable that you can select from the inputs. Now we need to get it as part of our code. So first thing we're going to do is come to our defaults and set TP equals 50. This is just as a default, so it'll set it to 50 instead of being 0. Then in our TP, instead of setting it to 25, we set it to our variable. Now this variable we can control outside of having to code it. So let's compile that. Strategies. Unenable it. And now look, now we have our TP. So let's do 400. Apply. Now look, in a lot of cases, yeah, I don't think we hit it anywhere. Now we're getting the same, right? Our entry signal is closing the opposite position. Yeah, I don't think we get it anywhere. So let's go back to strategies, disable it, and set it to 100. Alright, so here, boom, profit target, boom, profit target, and you can tell it's different because now, still not good, but better than before. So, yeah, that's basically the very basics to building a strategy. Then with that input, then you can optimize it and see what works best. But
price, and we see TP could use any indicator, data types, all the controls, just a different.
yeah, that's it for the video. Just, I mean, by adding 1, 6, and then, what's this, 20. In 30 lines of code, you can get a working strategy. So, hopefully, you learned something. Basically, just a review. So, whenever you want to create an indicator, first you create the variable. In data loaded, you fill the variable with data. Then you add the chart, add the indicator to the chart if you want it. Then make sure we have enough bars before we start doing any logic. Entry signals. Then set our TP, set our stop loss, and enter the trade. Then here we have our property, which allows you to change the TP outside of the code. But yeah, that's it for this video. Hope you learned something. Let me know if you want to see more like these or more advanced stuff. This is a very basic, very basic strategy just to show how somebody can start learning how to use Ninjascript. Also, if you are on MetaTrader 5, I highly recommend go watch his videos. They are great. So, yeah, that's it. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.